The Canadian geese. You stop here, the stream, there's thousands and thousands of them stop every year when they go south for the winter time in Canada. English house over here, English house here. If you look right up here, you'll see an Amish farm right over here on the right-hand side of the road. This farm runs from right here all the way down to those trees way in the distance, over there to the right to those trees, and all the way along that fence line way down there. All this land belongs to this Amishman right here. Now those two tall concrete structures are called silos. That's what you put silage in or feed to feed their stock during the winter time, and only the winter time. Why? The Amish leave their horses, mules, and cows out 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year if the weather permits. The only time you ever bring your stock in the barn and feed them out of those silos in the wintertime is in the wintertime when the ice and snow's on the ground. Well, what they put in those silos, it is called field corn. Now humans cannot eat field corn, very bitter, very tough. Sweet corn grows to be about 8 feet tall. This field corn will grow to be 10 to 12 feet tall. Amish cut it all down from the end of October till now, put up in their silo to feed their stock. I said, how can English and Amish live side by side? Look at this right here. There's an Englishman lives right there, Amish farm right there. Englishman lives there, Amish farm there. It's called respect. The English respect the Amish respect the English. That's how you can live two ways of life side by side. Now people ask me how the Amish do their farm work. Tractors? No, the Amish will never have a tractor out in the field ever. Everything is pulled by a team of mules. They use from 4 mules to 8 mules for every task. All the farm machinery has steel wheels. This is a potato field right here. From here, all the way down to this road was a potato field. 2 weeks ago, the mother and father and all 8 of their children from that farm right there were out there sitting, digging potatoes. With a little trowel like this, little garden trowel. They dig down in the ground till they hit a potato, stick their hand there, pull a potato out, put in a basket. So they pull all those potatoes in this field, then have team mules plow down all under smooth and put grass on it. Why? To keep the topsoil from washing off. Cabbage patch. Green cabbage, red cabbage, blue cabbage, and purple cabbage. All one big field. It's harvested just last week. And then next week they're going to plow this under, put manure on it, and put grass seed on it to keep the topsoil from washing off. Big Amish milk farm over here. Typical Amish has cows out, 40 to 60 cows. Milk those cows twice a day, 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning and 4 to 6 o'clock at night. Each cow produces about 7 to 8 gallons of milk a day. See this house right here? The Amish bought this house from the English. How's the English house? The Amish bought it. And he built a barn. Why do you have to build a barn? First floor where you put your stock in bad weather. See the second floor up there? That's where you have church services, weddings, and funerals. Why? Here in Amish County, there is no brick and mortar Amish church. There is no such thing. Every Amishman is required to have either a church service, a wedding, or a funeral on their farm every year. So that's why it's built. It's a house for you have to build a barn. Fields over here, this is ryegrass here, alfalfa hay, more ryegrass, another alfalfa hay field. It looks like one big field crop, but it is. It's 4 different fields of crops there. That's how they rotate their crops every 2 years. Look over here on the left, you'll see a big building over here, L-shaped building. Look on the roof, you're going to see solar panels. Those solar panels charge 12-volt car batteries, which the Amish woman uses for battery operates her business and also her cash register. Because that's an Amish fabric store. Here in Atlantic County, the English can shop at any Amish business. The Amish can shop at any English business. Well, if that was just an Amish business for only the Amish alone, they wouldn't have battery operators. They use kerosene lanterns. But since the English are allowed to shop there, the business has propane, has solar panels charging 12-volt car batteries for lights and also a cash register. Look at the wash hanging out there today on the left-hand side of this road down here. The Amish wash every day except Sundays. Why? Typical Amish person only has 5 change of clothes. 1 set of clothes for everyday wear, 1 set of clothes for Sunday wear, 1 set of clothes in the wash, and 1 or 2 to spare. Anything more than 5 sets of clothes, frivolous. The mother makes all the clothes for her family. She makes all the dresses for herself, all her daughters, all the shirts for her husband, all her boys, all a plain single color. No fancy designs, checks, stripes, anything on anything. Everything's a plain single color. That's why the Amish are called the plain folk. And if you look at this field over here, you'll see the crops. Small field. I said small field of crops. This first field down here is a field cornfield. See it? They cut half of it down already. Next field's an alfalfa field, another field cornfield, another alfalfa field, another field cornfield, and they rotate their crops every 2 years. Why? Every crop pulls different minerals and nutrients out of soil. If you grow the same crop in the same field year after year after year, you're going to pull all those good minerals and nutrients out of the soil. You're not going to be able to grow anything. It's become non-arable. So the Amish rotate their crops every 2 years. And this is the most expensive farmland that you're ever going to see in your life. Why? English farmland goes $18,000 to $20,000 an acre. Amish farmland costs $45,000 to $55,000 an acre. It's the most expensive farmland that you're ever going to see. But the English, you're never going to be able to buy that. Why? The Amish will never sell farmland. Amish will never sell farmland to an Englishman, ever. Because it's so hard to get. Since the Amish, I said the Amish already own 85% of it. Can the Amish buy more farmland? Here's a family buggy coming towards right now. Now this buggy right here will cost an Amish family between $8,000 and $14,000 for that buggy. The horse that pulls that buggy is a retired racehorse called a trotter. They cost $5,000, $8,000, and horse and gear cost another $1,000. So the Amish can actually have more money tied up in that horse and buggy than us English people do in a very small English car. But there is one big difference though. That buggy is going to last 70 years. English cars don't last 70 years. There's 17 buggy makers make all this buggy. So they bought this house from Englishmen. First floor is stock, second floor religious ceremonies, first floor stock, second floor religious ceremonies. But the English live right here next to them. See that? That's how you have to respect. You live side by side. Now, can the Amish buy any more farm? People ask me, can the Amish buy more farmland right now from? No, they can't. Because the English aren't selling any more farmland right now. That's the way they get their farmland. So when an Englishman sells farmland, he puts it up for auction. Not through a real estate agent, through auction. You have 60 to over 100 Amishmen will come to them auctions. They want to buy that land. Now when an Amishman buys a piece of land from an Englishman, there's only one thing he has to do. Within 1 year, he must disconnect the power line leading from the power pole into the house. The reason being is, the Amish don't want to be connected outside the English world. Us English people, we're connected outside the English world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year, by the electric coming in our houses. The Amish don't want to be connected to the outside English world. That's why they do not want electric in their houses. So they buy a house from an Englishman, have 1 year to disconnect it. Because at the 1 year anniversary of buying your house from an Englishman, the bishop of your church district pays you a little visit. If you're still connected to the electric, the bishop's not very happy with you at all. So everybody disconnects the electric 1 year. These two houses here were English houses 10 years ago. Two Amish brothers bought them. One Amish brother's family lives there, the other Amish farmer was there. Little roadside stand here selling fresh fruits and vegetables off the farm. And here's how they farm. This is called strip farming. See the small different fields of crops? Amish woman out there harvesting that crop right there. Small fields of crops, side by side by side. This place where you see the grass is, that field's already done. Now they plant any kind of vegetable in this field you want. Hey, green beans, long beans, beets, cabbage, carrots, celery, kale, green red peppers, any kind of fruit you wanted. Each of these fields a different crop. So if they done harvest a crop, they put grass over it. Why? To keep the topsoil from washing off. This is the cornfield right here. They harvest all the corn. This field here, the green beans, long beans, peas and stuff in there. Or this cabbage up here, the cabbage in this field, they just didn't get cutting all the rest of this down yet. What to do, they'll cut all this down. See what they did here? Pile under, put topsoil on top of it. Keeps its topsoil from washing off. This is field corn. Field corn usually grows to be about 10 to 12 feet tall, but this year we had a drought. We didn't have any rain. So everything was held up this year, didn't do very good at growing anything this year. There's an Amish man on the field right there. Same look, you roll the field up right there. See 2 mules. 4 mules to 8 mules for every task. He's rolling that field. He's rolling that field, you can put manure down on it. That's how you do every one of their fields. You plow it under, put manure on it, keeps tops and put topsoil on it, grass in it. But they have 2 ways to fertilize their fields, even though they do not have chemical fertilizers. One way is called the manure spreader. Now, typical Amishman has cows. They have 12 to 20 cows. They milk those cows twice a day, 4 to 6 o'clock in the morning and 4 to 6 o'clock at night. Each cow produces 7 to 8 gallons of milk a day, all right? Well, 3 times a week, big tank trucks will come pick all the milk up from the Amish and take it to dairies to be pasteurized. Well, when the cows are in the barn being milked, they make a terrible mess. They urinate on the floor, defecate on the floor. So the Amish have to shovel all that manure out. Shovels all that, puts a big wagon called a manure spreader. It's a big flat wagon like this. He shovels all that manure in that wagon. In the morning, a team of mule pulls that down through the field very slowly. Pulls a lever. The whole bed of that wagon lifts up like this, like a dump truck. All the manure slides back down here. Big cutter blades, like a lawnmower blades, cut all that manure up, shoot it up there and spread the field. That's what's on that field. That's manure on that field for the horse, mules, and cows. That's how they fertilize their fields. Now the other way is called honey wagon. You pump all the liquid manure out of the bottom of your manure pit, you put a big round wagon. Team mule pulls that through the field. Amish opens a valve and it sprays what looks like mud on the field. Believe me, it does not smell like mud. Several years ago I had a woman on a bus and they're putting manure on the field. She said, "Oh my God, what's that smell?" I said, "Oh, they're just putting liquid manure in the field." She said, "What's that liquid manure do?" It makes the crops grow. And she said, "You mean you plant crops in there, then you eat it?" I said, "Yeah, the smell makes them taste that much better." But every field we see here today has never had commercial fertilizer on it, ever. Every one of these fields is liquid manure or the manure spreader. It's all Amish fields. This was a big pumpkin patch. Sure don't look like he does it. Harvest all the pumpkins out, ground them all up, put grass seed on it. I said we had a drought this year. This is one of the first droughts in Lancaster County history. Well, usually over the winter time we have 28 inches of snow. Last winter, we had no snow. First time in 400 years. This field right here was a gourd field. Gourds, pumpkins, cantaloupes, watermelons, any kind of melon was in this field right here. And none of it grew. The Amish lost over $40,000 of produce in this field right here because of no rain. Corn over here, started planting corn, it got to 95 degrees for 6 days, burned all the corn up, no water. Amish just tore all the corn down and put ground cover on top of it. Until next year, hope next year. If you come here in the middle of the winter time, you don't see white snow on the fields. You'll see brown snow. Snows, the Amish way out there put manure on their fields. When the snow melts, goes down in the ground, takes that manure down the ground, fertilizes the ground. All these fields are all done. There's their cabbage patch right here. They just didn't plow this under yet. They'll plow all this under right here. Now, I said every Amishman is required to have a church service, a wedding, or a funeral on their farm every year. I'll explain how they do that. Now, if you look over here at this house on the right-hand side down here, they bought this house from English 4 years ago. They disconnected electric. They built the barn. If you look at this barn, it's a 2-story barn. First floor, we put your stock in, milk your cows on the first floor. The second floor is a big open room. See the steps go up there? Yeah. That's where you have church services, weddings, and funerals. Because every Amish family is required to have either church service, a wedding, or a funeral on the farm every year. That's right. Well, they had church here last Sunday. So last Saturday morning, a big gray wagon pulled by a team of mules came up here and dropped the wagon off this yard right here. Saturday afternoon, the mother and father and all the boys and girls from the family carried all those church pews around the back of the barn up the steps and put them up in the barn. Church service ran from 8 o'clock in the morning until 12 noon, all in High German. At 12 o'clock, you have to feed everybody that comes to your farm for church. Well, you might have 60 people, 80 people, you could have 100 people. It's a light lunch of homemade breads, jams, jellies, meats and cheeses, pickled beet eggs, schnitz pie, shoe-fly pie, coffee, tea, and milk. The men first, the boys, the women, then the girls. After everybody eats, you sit around for a little fellowship time. The men sit around a group over here and talk about their stock and their farms. Now the women, they sit around a group over here and talk about their home life and their children. Well, they have a lot to talk about. The typical Amish family here in Lancaster County has 5 to 8 children. You can have up to 15 children. There's an Amish woman here in Lancaster County had 28 children. And the children at their city church 4 hours don't want to talk about anything but play. So they put volleyball nets up and play. Because the Amish faith on Sunday, the only thing you're allowed to do on Sundays is milk your cows. If your stock's in the barn, because there's snow on the ground, feed your stock. Now look right over here. There's where Amish children go to school. right there, that's a one-room Amish schoolhouse right there. Now we have 294 of these one-room schoolhouses here in the county. Now in that schoolhouse, 25 to 30 young Amish boys and girls in grades 1 through 8 are in one room. First graders sit here, second graders, third, fourth, fifth, sixth, seventh, and eighth, all in one room. One teacher who only has an 8th grade education, but she's picked by the school board to be able to teach school, wanders through that classroom teaching all 8 grades at one time. Now Amish children go to school for the first week in August, last week in August to the first week in May. They only have 5 days off the entire school year. 1 day of Thanksgiving, 1 day of Christmas, 1 day of Easter, and 2 religious holidays. Go to school from 8:30 in the morning until 3 o'clock in the afternoon, Monday through Friday. And in the schools are taught how to read, write English proficiently, High German for religion, mathematics, history, geography, and health. They do not teach science in Amish schools because evolution is a science and the Amish do not believe in evolution. Now those children at schoolhouse, there's no indoor plumbing. See the outhouse for the girls, outhouse for the boys. Solar panel on the roof to charge 12-volt car batteries, which power lights for the winter time when it's dark. Small ball field for the younger children, a bigger ball field for the older children. They love to play baseball. And each of the children that goes to any one of these 294 one-room schoolhouses can live 1.5 miles away. Well, how do you get to school? You walk to school or you ride a scooter. There is no bus transportation for Amish children, and the Amish are never, ever allowed to ride a bicycle. And the reason why they're not allowed to ride a bicycle, about 30 years ago, so many Amish mothers and fathers went to the bishop of the church district and said, English children ride bicycles. Why can't our children ride bicycles? So the bishop thought about it. They put a test period in several church districts. It didn't last long. They found 5 and 6-year-old children 11 and 12 and 13 miles away from home on a bicycle. Because the faster you go, the faster you pedal, the faster you go. On a scooter, your leg gets tired way before that. And to protect their children from getting lost or something else happened to them, the bishop said no more bicycles. So the Amish are not allowed to ride bicycles anytime for anything. They have to ride scooters. Well, people say, what could happen out here? Well, what happens here? The Amish here are not immune to the crime from the outside English world. 2 years ago, we had a young Amish girl, 16-year-old, walking home from church. She was kidnapped, raped, and murdered. 20 years ago, we had the Nickel Mine school shooting, which an Englishman went into an Amish schoolhouse, shot 8 children, 8 girls, killed 5 of them, and crippled the other 3. Well, he used to be he was a truck driver for an English milk company. Picked the milk up from the Amish farm and took it to the dairy. Well, he told his wife he's going to work. He didn't go to work. He went to an Amish schoolhouse. Went in the schoolhouse with a gun. Ordered all the boys to run. Told the boys, get out of here, I'm going to kill you. All the boys ran. He chained all the girls up to around the inside of the schoolhouse like this, handcuffed them together and chained them to the wall. One shot, killed 5 Amish children in the back of the head. Killed them instantly. Shot 3 more in the back, broke their spines, crippled them for life. Well, the state police, teacher ran 1.5 miles to an Englishman's house. Called the state police came in, he said, I got automatic weapons in here, I'm going to kill everybody else. At that time, they didn't know the boys weren't in there. So he said, okay, there was a standoff, went for 8.5 hours. 8.5 hours later, heard a shot. Rushed the schoolhouse, here that Englishman shot and killed himself. Well, nobody knew why he did it. In fact, they called his wife up and said, do you know where your husband's at? She said, oh yeah, he's picking milk up, taking it to the dairy. No, he just went to Amish schoolhouse, shot and killed 8 Amish children, killed 5 of them. Well, nobody knew why they did that for almost a year and a half. They had the state police come in, the FBI come in for hate crime. They didn't know why he did it. And here they found out after 2 years, his wife got death threats. She had to actually leave the state of Pennsylvania. She got death threats. How could your husband do something like that to Amish children? His wife, his mother and father both had heart attacks over it. Well, after about a year and a half, they found out, they had the FBI come in, they stunned him. Here they found out his wife and him had a daughter. She died in infancy. He blamed God for killing his daughter. So he said, I'm going to take it out on somebody. He's going to take it out on the Amish, because the Amish are a very prayerful society, religious society, and only the girls. That's why I told the boys to leave. Like, Shine Kempton. And that became such celebrity. It was on the news all over in the United States. These people come from all around states around here to see that school shooting. People were actually trying to get up to the schoolhouse and see the bloody floor inside, take a picture of it. Well, they had to call the National Guard in. Pennsylvania National Guard surrounded that schoolhouse, didn't let anybody in it. 3 days later, the Amish bishop said, is there any more investigation needed? They said no. They leveled that schoolhouse, took even the ground down underneath the schoolhouse away, disposed of it in another place. Well, 6 months later, they built another schoolhouse 11 miles away from there. 5 trees out in the middle of the fields. Any people that know where the Amish children were killed in Pennsylvania. Another one-room schoolhouse right there. Only the people living in Amish County know where that schoolhouse is, because they didn't want to become a monument to hate like that. Well, his mother wrote a book called Forgiveness, about how the Amish community forgave his son for doing that. He said, we don't know why he did it. Maybe something went wrong in his mind. We don't know why he did it, but we forgive him for doing that. So she died about 8 years ago. At her funeral, 95% of all the mourners at her funeral were the Amish, just to pay respect for that lady for reading that book called Forgiveness, called The Nickel Mines School Shooting. Those trees out there. Those trees at the top of northern Amish County, 85% of all this land is Amish. And the Amish will never sell farm or farmland to English. Why? You sell your farm, where are you going to move to? There's no farmland left here in Pennsylvania. So what they do is, when a man and woman retire from farming, they hand their farm down to their youngest son. There comes 2 Amish boys riding scooters right here. Not like bicycle, scooters. They're only allowed to ride scooters. So right here, you see them down here with scooters. Those scooters are all made by one scooter company in Louisville, about 12 miles that way. It costs about $250, but they last forever. 85% of all this farmland is Amish. The Amish will never sell it. That had liquid manure in that field a week ago. This one's just done this week. See the difference in it? That's how they put it in the field. They'll do this all winter long. It snows, they put the liquid manure right on top of the field. So when the snow melts, it takes the manure down the field, fertilizes the ground. So what happens is, when a man and woman were retired from farming, what do? They hand their farm down to their youngest son. Now, not the oldest one, their youngest son. Why? Because the oldest son is probably going to get married and going to have a family earlier than the youngest son does. When the youngest son gets head of the household, he hands it down to his youngest son. Remember I said the Amish come over here in 1727. 4 more years, 2027. That's 300 years the Amish have been handing their farmland down from generation to generation to generation. Amish have no doctors or hospitals. The Amish can go to an English doctor or an English hospital for any kind of medical procedure. And 85% of all the babies born here in Amish County are born at home. They're delivered by a midwife. Now the Amish, us English people, we go to the doctor or hospital, we pay our bills and insurance. Now the Amish don't have insurance. The Amish have no life insurance, no medical insurance. Why? Well, the Amish say everybody on the face of this earth was put here by God. Every person in this world was put here by God. Well, God's the only one who knows how long you're going to live, what kind of quality of life you have. By having insurance, you're betting against God, nothing's going to happen to you, you're going to have a longer life. Well, that's not the truth. God says you're going to die at 20 years old, you're going to die at 20 years old. Nothing you do about it. So the Amish have a thing called a mutual fund. Here in Amish County, we have 253 church districts. Each district has a thing called a catastrophic mutual fund. Us English people, we tie 15 to 20% of our income to the church. The Amish, they tie 45 to 50% of their income to the church. That goes to pay catastrophic bills. Well, about 10 years ago, we had an Amish girl here in Amish County had cancer. 16 years old. She went to chemotherapy for 2 years. After 2 years, she declared cured. The mother and father went to go pay the bill. They said the bill was $210,000. Nobody has that kind of money laying around. They went to the bishop of the church and said, we need money to pay our daughter's catastrophic bill. The church gave money to pay the bill. That's not only for medical bills. Suppose we have a tornado come wipes your farm off the face of the earth. The church will give you money to rebuild. Lightning bolt hits your house burns down. The church gives you money to rebuild. Well, catastrophic fund, that's why it's called a catastrophic fund. Look over here. This house here was built by an Amish man 11 years ago. Well, 10 years ago, it sold to a young Amish couple that just got married. Now, the man and woman live there. They've been married 10 years. They have 11 children already. The more children you have, the more help you have on your farm. Now, us English people were connected to the outside English world. The Amish are not. Us English people, we have electric wires leaving our house, we have cable wires leaving our house, and things like that. We're connected to the outside English world 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, 365 days a year. The Amish are not. Amish don't want to be connected to the outside English world. So the Amish will never have any kind of wire ever leaving their house. No electric, no cable, nothing like that. You know, on solar panels, English have solar panels in their house. So 3 houses right here, you'll see solar panels. You'll see satellite dishes, stuff laying in their house. These 3 houses right here, all connected to the outside English world. When you get up to the Amish house, you'll see nothing but a garden. Why do the Amish grow a garden? Because during the peak growing season, the mother goes right out in that garden, gets every kind of vegetable your family can see for supper. You can't get any fresher than that. And also what they can. But remember I said because of the drought this year, nobody had gardens. So what the Amish had to do was actually everything dried up, having no rain, they actually plow all these over and put ground cover on all their gardens this year. Nobody had gardens. Look at the windows, you'll see green shades. Not draperies or curtains, green shades. Draperies or curtains are frivolous. No privacy, you just pull your green shade or brown shade down. Look how it did this drought to this corner here, look. That was corn. That's what corn looked like, burned up. Amishman here burned this whole thing up, so he is just playing ground cover on everything here. An older English man and woman live right there. Everything here is on these Amish here. But there's an Englishman lives there in that White House. You'd ask that Englishman who his neighbors are, he's not going to say the Amish. The King family lives on one side, the Lamb family lives on the other side. That's respect you show to your neighbors. Another one of 294 one-room square houses. Propane gas heat in the wintertime. Now if you're wondering what these big white things are, remember I said you cut all your field corn down at the end of the year, take it back to your barn, you grind it up and then force it by air compressor up your silo. So that Amishman right there has 3 silos, all filled with field corn. And the reason why they fill them with field corn, the Amish will never let their stock go out in the field when there's ice and snow on the ground in the winter time. So what happens if you put your horse out there, the horse slips and falls, breaks his leg, you have to put your horse down. Well, that's no easy feat to have to place your horse. Horses are expensive. So what they do is, they bring them in the barn, they leave them in the barn and feed them field corn for 30 days. That's everything you get to eat for 30 days is field corn. Well, after 30 days, the stock get tired of eating the same old thing day after day after day. I like to compare it to us English people. It's about like tell everybody on this bus, you got to eat cereal 3 times a day for 30 days. At the end of 30 days, you're going to hate eating cereal. Same way the stock hate eating field corn. So what they do, how they remedy the situation, these things right here are called Amish marshmallows, these big things. That is ryegrass. The one down there, the little ones, they're alfalfa hay. So it's field crop. And this thing down here on the ground is called Amish worm or Amish sausage. That is winter wheat, another field crop. So what you do is, you take a piece each of them there, mix it all together with field corn, you feed to your stock. Everybody gets happy. So then you don't have to worry about taking your stock out. Most of the time it's usually about 4 weeks to 6 weeks, we get heavy snow, your stock's not going out in the field at all. So you put manure in this field over here, that was a chunk manure, look at that manure spreader. See the chunks of manure laying in that field right there? So you put manure in that field. When it snows in the wintertime, you won't see white snow, you'll see brown snow. They put manure right on top of it. So when the snow melts, it takes that manure down in the ground. The Amish right there on that farm, he also makes and repairs grandfather clocks. It's where the grass clock maker likes counting. So people ask me, what do they do over the winter time? They don't sit around and watch TV like us English folk do. What they do is they work, men with working skills make furniture, Adirondack chairs, make certain furniture they sell to the English. Bedroom suits, dining room suits, kitchen tables, gun cabinets, desks, everything made out of wood the Amish make, they sell to the English. Now the Amish, women sew hot pads, clothes, linens, things like that, but they also sew quilts. Now it takes an Amish woman 1 entire year to sew a quilt. A quilt will range anywhere from a king-size quilt from $500 over $8,000, $9,000. Well, we have a big quilting convention here in Lancaster City. Every year, people come from all around the world to buy Amish quilts. Well, 5 years ago, a quilt sold in a quilting convention for $15,000 to a young Australian couple. It was called the 3D quilt. Well, 3D picture, look at 3D picture, look like I can see into this 3D picture, right? Well, this quilt looked like it's standing over this quilt looked like it had depth to it. Well, that's an optical illusion. It's an impossibility. You cannot have depth. Oh, it is a thing of fabric. Well, they took that thing off the wall, man and woman wanted. They take it off the wall and they have to check every stitch. But I said every Amish woman has a different stitch. You find 2 different stitches on a quilt made, 2 women made it, nobody wants that. That's not unique to one woman. But it took that woman 13 months to sew that quilt. Everybody wondered how she did it, to make it look like 3D. She died a year after she made that quilt. She went to her grave, taking that with her, how she ever made that quilt. Nobody in the world has been able to figure out how she made that quilt look like that. Well, it took that woman 13 months to sew that quilt. It took the man and woman 3.5 hours to check it. Checked every single stitch with a big magnifier. Found one stitch, they bought it. $15,000, the largest thing ever sold for a quilt here in Amish County. So what they do in these fields, that was a alfalfa field right there, there's a cornfield here, tobacco field here, which I'll explain more about later on tour. Another field cornfield, so what they do? They plow it under, put grass seed on it. Grass seed keeps the topsoil from washing off. So every one of these fields has topsoil on it, except for this field up here, I'll show you. In fact, they just got done some of these fields. Just got done this field here, you see only half of this has grass on it. The rest of it had that grass on it. This field up there, most of this is covered, but the field up here was just done Thursday. They didn't have a chance to do anything on this field up here. This is what it's all going to look like when it's all done, this field right here. See it? Everything looks green. Well, people, Amish are in a dilemma. Why? There's no more farmland left here in Amish County. Now, everybody said the Amish aren't selling their farmland right now. So the Amish have 2 things to worry about. What to do? Do they stay here and try to work for another job, or do they leave Pennsylvania and go to another place, to another Amish community in America? A lot of the Amish are staying here. What they do, they work for an Englishman. Because here in Amish County, 85% of all the carpenters here in Amish County are Amish. They work for an Englishman. Well, why would you work for an Englishman? Very simple. An Englishman comes to your farm in a truck, picks you up, takes you to the job site. And on the job site, you're allowed to use electric power tools, drills, and saws, and things like that. Why? Because the Englishman owns the business and supplies electricity. If you're an Amish carpenter, you have to drive your buggy to the job site, use compressed air and battery-operated tools, and drive your buggy back home. Well, a buggy only travels 5 miles an hour. So if you have a job site 10 miles away, it's going to take you 2 hours to get there, use compressed air and battery tools, and 2 hours to get back. An Englishman picking up in a truck takes you 15 minutes to get there, use electric power tools, and brings you back home at the end of the day. All this brick wall, all these walls, stuff are all made by the Amish. Here in Amish County, there's no problem with the trades by gay workers. The Amish love to do this work. Amish re-stoned all these houses on here. They were done by the English, and all the stoning fell off after about 10 years. The Amish re-stoned them just these last 2 years, all these 3 houses here. Now look over here, on the left you'll see a little building here behind the barn, behind the house. That's a kitchen. The kitchen's not